Bye.
All right. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Paul and Palz podcast.
Yo, yo.
Everybody good? Everybody chilling?
All is
Mr.
good.
William, Len Dukes. What's cracking?
Chilling, brother.
Good,
Chilling.
what's good?
You good?
Yeah. Shit, man. What can we complain about, man? You know.
I mean, a lot, but.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get me wrong. That is true. There's a lot of stuff we can complain about. But, you know, at the end of the day, this little marble's going to keep spinning, man. And 2021's already off to a rocky start. So, you know, at the end of the day, we just got to keep doing what we got to do, man. Always got to try to stay positive, though. So we can't complain, but, you know, just got to handle it how it comes.
I get it.
Yeah. So.
It's too fucking bright.
I know we're on a getting yourself spotlight.
Yeah, sir.
You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up, right? All right. So I know Will's technically under a time constraint, so we're just gonna get right into it, man. I know Len, let's start off with you, man. Like, I know we have a couple things we want to talk about, so set it off, dude.
No doubt. So yeah, one of the things that I don't know why that sounded like I heard like reverb. So one of the things I was talking about was or wanted to talk about was like if an athlete of today, if an athlete of the past before social media, like what athletes would you have wanted to have had like a social media account, or how do you think they would have like acted if with the social media account?
All right, I'll give mine first. So I put a little thought into this, and I don't know if it'd be good, but it'd be entertaining. Like, I don't know if it'd be good for him.
Okay, so I looked it up and it said like 2004 was like the beginning of like the quote unquote like social media era, I should say.
And I thought about, like, you know, the Dennis Rodmans of the world, like, you know, what if that would be interesting. But I actually put that to the side because it would be entertaining. It might be a car wreck, but it would be entertaining to have Lawrence Taylor.
I had him on my list.
As just because, you know, I could just picture him on Instagram, like, Coke on this side, Hooker on this side. We're getting ready to kill this fucking quarterback. Like, you know, there's some bullshit. Like, you could just hear him say some outlandish, like, God, take social media away from him. So maybe it was good that it wasn't in his era. But, God, that would have been so interesting.
Yeah. How about you, Will?
Probably
hot sauce.
Hey.
Probably like Mike Vick or something. But I mean, I don't think it would be as entertaining as Lawrence Taylor, though.
But hey, you never know. I'm saying, look, back then, you know, Mike Vick was like doing some dirt with dogs, and like, you know, so what if he was actually like showing that shit? It would have like more evidence against him.
Yeah.
I would picture Mike Vick being more along the lines of, hey, just so everybody knows, I just smoked the Eagles. You know, put up his stats and just talk a pile of shit. You know, I'm not saying I'm unstoppable, but, you know, have like a little meme or just something that can't be stopped or something like that. Like, his trash talk would be, because, you know, Vic trash talking would still be under, I'm nice, y'all suck, deal with it. Like, Lawrence Taylor would have a picture of, you know, him with a gun or something and a hooker tied up in the back, you know, just talking reckless and crazy, like wanting to go to jail. So I think that's what that'd be my thoughts on like the Vic LT comparison. Like, Vic would be entertaining as far as, damn, he's nice. Like, you'd be like, wow, like, damn, talk that shit, Vic. LT, you'd be like, yo, you see that crazy shit LT just put up? You know, so I think LT would end up having one of those Instagram live moments and have the police busting in on his door around around that time too.
Easily see that.
Yep.
Easily. I put John Rocker.
Wow.
Because he was a vile fuck. He was a vile fuck. And if they would have saw the shit that he was saying, and because he was ready to talk to anyone about the shit that he was thinking about.
He got hammered talking shit And the newspaper hammered him because he was on that subway talking to pile of shit about gays and AIDS and all that. Like, if you gave him a social media outlet, he'd be like, I could see him being banned quick. Like, grand opening, grand closing. Like, he'd be on and off in like a week.
Yeah, they would have to delete him quick. I put like Mayorga. Even though he was like still around, but again, he was not as young. Because he didn't give a fuck.
That's the boxer?
The dude that was smoking in the ring after fights, smoking cigarettes.
You know, he'd get hit and be like, you know, wow, like hit me some more and shit, like talking. See.
Till Trinidad shut him up.
But the thing is, like, he was good up to a level. All the greats busted his ass. Like, he talked to Palz. That's the thing, though. Like, he talked shit like a bully. But people bullied him. Like, the people that had the skill would run him ragged in the ring. He was a good bully. Like, he talked a pile of shit to De La Hoya. He grabbed Shane Mosley's wife's ass.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Like, almost caused a riot in the press conference. Like, I don't think I wouldn't subscribe. I wouldn't follow him. I'm not a fan of Mayorga like that.
But I think his account will be popular.
Yeah,
Probably be done like quick, like you said. I have a feeling like it would have like ousted him out of there.
In this day and age, you know, Trump has a following, so Mayorga would probably be up there, but I wouldn't be the ones to follow him though. Like,
No doubt.
I mean, anyone with shenanigans and antics, they're gonna get followed. A lot of followers.
And that's what I'm kind of like hinting to, like, because like the shit that we're going on that we see right now in the world is like that stuff is like loved nowadays. So I imagine like how many people would have been able to capitalize or like would have been like more popular now from back then if they had like the social media that we have like now, you know?
I mean, look at the answers we gave. Controversial figures that, you know, either talk a pile of shit or have gotten into trouble with the law or something like that. Like, we're not naming nice guys. I would love to see Arnold Palmer have an account. Like, I would love to follow that guy. Like, no, it's the guy that, you know, you're expecting like to go to jail someday.
See, like, all right, so like Jordan, see, like, even if there was a social media at the time, I don't think he would have been a part of it. I think he's so focused on.
I can see that.
He'd be on it, but he'd be on it to hear other people like everything pissed them off. If you saw that, you know, the documentary.
I took that personally.
I saw Larry Johnson's mom. She said hi. I don't like the way she said that. I had to take it personally. He would just fly off the handle on anything. So he wouldn't, in my opinion, Jordan wouldn't be, he'd be on it and he'd have a lot of followers.
He'll use it as motivation.
It would just be motivating. Like he wouldn't be posting anything. He would just be listening and watching. And is just taking a note down of everybody. Like he'd be mad at the world if he had social media.
Oh, you didn't like that in 10 seconds after I posted it? Watch, 30 points on you, kid.
Like 1 million people hit the like button. There's like 80 million people in the world. I'm taking it personally with 70 million.
I'm gonna play all of y'all one-on-one in 1 hour, all of y'all at the same time, or some kind of miraculous shit, and he'll fucking do it and win.
So yeah. You know, again, like nobody's saying anybody that's, you know, nice and the nice guys, because you know Jordan was never, you know, even when he was in the league, you know, you think you're the best, you'd have an answer to that. That wasn't, yeah, I think I'm the best. You know, he was a nice guy like that.
Yeah. He
never wanted to step on any toes to risk losing whatever credibility that he gained. So he wouldn't, you know. I would follow him, but I don't think he would have a lot to say. He'd post up himself holding up rings and MVPs and shit. Like that's the only thing that he'd post, you know. So, yeah.
No doubt. So do I go to my next question, or you want to go to yours, or?
No, knock it out, man.
All right. So, the other question was, what is a movie or show that everyone loves, that is like revered by the world, but you just happen to hate it?
I'm going to say I always get slack for this, but I never understood it. I actually hate it, but I hate that genre of movie. Grease. Like everybody loves Grease. Everybody knows the sing-alongs. I don't know the songs, and people look at me and I'm like, I don't like that shit. I hate musicals, with the exception of, what was that musical with Beyonce and Jamie Foxx? Dreamgirls?
Oh yeah. I don't know the name for sure, but I know the movie you're talking about.
My boy.
Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah. So my boy put me onto that one, and I watched it, and I was like, all right, because it had something to do with singers. It's okay, busting out, okay, fine. Little Shop of Horrors.
I love that film.
As a kid, I love Little Shop of Horrors. Other than that, I don't go into some deep part of a movie. Shit's about to go down. We're about to fight, and all of a sudden, click, 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 click.
So you hate like West Side Story? That's like not your shit.
I've never seen it. I don't ever want to see it. I don't care to see it. The only part I know is some dude named Stella. Like, that's the only part I know, because that's a world famous thing. Grease, I don't care about Grease. Like, that would put me in front of a firing squad to all the movie lovers out there. But Grease sucks to me. Again, like, I don't want to see. It's like watching 24, and right before they're trying to disconnect the bomb, they just start doing, and then start going into a song about trying to save the world. I'm a big South Park fan, and I hated the South Park movie because it was a cartoon musical. So yeah, that's my answer. I hate that shit. I hate musicals.
No doubt. How about you, Will?
I'd probably say not to the point of hate, but Titanic. I think when it first came out, I don't know, it did some incredible numbers. I never saw it. I just recently saw it, like probably, I want to say 2 years ago. So all of these years, everyone's talking about it. And I saw it and I was just like, okay. I was like, I really didn't. Yeah, I was like, it's all right. But for the hype that it was getting and the numbers that it did, I was like.
Because it made women drag their boyfriends to see this love movie based on a catastrophe. I've seen it, but I've seen the last half hour of it. I saw when the ship goes down. It's the only part of the movie I wanted to see.
I don't think I've watched the whole thing. I've seen clips. I haven't watched like the whole thing through. It's not like one of my. I don't care to watch. Kind of like Will. Like I just never really had like a care to go watch it.
I will watch a love story. Make no mistakes about it. I will watch a love story. Titanic, I don't care about the lady's flashback and, this love story mixed into the end of the world ship with these people on the boat. Like again, I don't want to see a love story based on the Hindenburg. Like, I don't want to see shit that the ending is some tragedy shit. If that's the case, that movie could have been a half hour long. They got on the boat, they hit an iceberg, the fucking boat sinks.
The end.
So, yeah, that's
no doubt.
Eh.
So my shit was Elf.
Elf.
Fucking hate that movie.
With Will Ferrell?
Hate it. It makes no fucking sense. It's one of the dumbest movies in the world.
I'm a Will Ferrell fan. I found that.
So am I. But I cannot. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's like no plot. There's like no. It's like they just shot like random scenes and they're like, oh yeah, here we go. This is a movie, and let's theme it around Christmas. It's like stupid. It's not funny.
It's not a sized person hanging out with elves. I found it funny.
I couldn't do it.
I haven't seen it.
Like it's always on during Christmas time. It's like everybody loves it, and I just can't stand it. I think it's the stupidest movie in the world, man.
It's a Christmas movie, like one of my favorites, Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. It's if you like Will Ferrell, and I know you said you do, but if you like Will Ferrell, it's just a goofy comedy. What Will Ferrell movie has a plot to it?
Well, there's some of them. What do you call it?
Like Ricky Bobby. Like, it's.
I never seen that. You
never seen Ricky Bobby?
No.
If you're not first, you're last.
So actually, and then here's another one. But I saw it. But when I saw it, you got to figure it's been like years removed since it came out. But old school, I didn't find that funny. There are funny parts, There are funny parts, but again, I think I would have to have watched it when it was popping, when it dropped.
I like to
So many
thank
years later.
Len for stopping by. He has to go.
All right, see you.
Old School is hilarious. Frank the Tank, dude.
So, there's maybe like 3 or 4 like really funny parts to me where like I would like want to go back and watch the clip again, but other than that, nah, no interest.
I would say go look at the ones that you haven't seen because they're actually pretty funny. If you like Will Ferrell's type of comedy, it's.
I have Step Brothers. I have to watch it. I have it on Old School right now. I have it on DVD. Damn, I'm old. Yeah, I need to watch that.
I mean, it's just good cast of characters. Vince Vaughn, one of them Wilson brothers, Will Ferrell, like the girl there. Kid's name is Spanish. Like I forgot the kid's name, but if you see him, you'd be like, oh, okay, I know that kid. It's a good cast. Like it's a good cast. It's a funny comedy. Like
Step Brothers.
No, I'm talking about Old School.
Oh, okay.
Step Brothers is funny too, and it actually has a good cast too. Like Step Brothers, I recommend. There's not too many Will Ferrell movies. I'm like, eh. Like even Elf, it's not up there on my list, but for what it is, for his comedy. He was an adopted baby that got sent to the North Pole by accident, and he thinks he's an elf. Meanwhile, all the elves are like little elf size. Like he's just this human-sized person trying to fit in, and then he actually finds out he has a dad that's in New York, but he still thinks he's an elf. Like, come on, man! Like that's.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. Come on. Exactly. Come on.
If you're looking for a major storyline, no. But if you're looking for like a Will Ferrell-esque comedy, it's not going to have a crazy plot point to it. It's just going to be a comedy. Like, don't take it seriously and you'll be fine.
I really tried. I sat down. I had like popcorn. I was like, all right, let me try to enjoy this. And then I was just like, nah.
You're a Grinch.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. No lie to it.
So,
all right, so that's all I had.
All right, I'll go to mine. We'll go to you. We'll go to you last. I'll take mine now. I mean, getting back to the real world, because 2021 just looks like Friday the 13th Part 2, just like the sequel of 2020. So we're off to a rocky start, and we can't have this podcast without mentioning what happened to the Capitol. As mainstream media as it is, it's still something that has to be talked about, I think. It's funny how you see these, and I'm going to say names now because he's like 2 weeks from being out of office, but you see Trump and his supporters, and I told you, like, sheep. I need you guys to jump into a volcano and watch them one by one do it. Yep. And you just see, for weeks, he's inciting everything. Storm the Capitol, pretty much saying storm the Capitol, and then they do. And some people have the balls to call them. And again, it's like really, Fox News and the right-wing extremist supporters, that want to call them patriots. Like, you want to call them patriots, but by definition, that was a terrorist act. By definition, they were terrorists. There are state buildings and federal buildings and anything that holds a flag up, they're putting it at half-mast because of what happened. No patriot is making that happen. Terrorists are going to make that happen. And to see the comparison of when Black Lives Matter went to peacefully protest by the Capitol, and it had a stormtrooper wave of soldiers in full riot gear and armed to the teeth on every other step of the Capitol building on their stairs. And then you see this mockery of security after weeks of antagonizing it by the president. And you get like 4 rent-a-cops and like 3 regular cops to the point that, yeah, it's like Paul Blart and, and what was
I saw a meme of that too. That was pretty funny.
Craig and Day Day from Friday, Top Flight Security. Like that was security.
Yeah.
And you know, they had to take everybody that was in there and secure them somewhere. You know, it was beyond a black eye for the country. With Trump as president, we looked like a joke for 4 years. This was the icing on the punchline that is America.
Yep.
And you still have some people that are going to try to defend it. There was this one dude at my job that was a Trump supporter, and we always get into arguments because never saw it. And then whether he was bullshitting or not, like, you can't deny it. So when that happened, he came to work the next day. He goes, "Oh man, that was a travesty." I said, "Bro, when you hear me talk about how the dumbness of Trump supporters and how stupid they are and how dumb the president is, you think I'm talking about every Trump supporter. I'm talking about the ones you saw on TV that didn't know how to act right." And you know, Max Kellerman had a show on ESPN. He was just like, had this been the Black Lives Matter movement trying to do that, nobody would have made it into the Capitol because they would all been shot dead.
Exactly.
And you had pictures of these dudes taking selfies with the cops. And the cops like, "What up?"
And then the main question is to ask yourself why. Why did they do that? Because they lost the vote. Not because somebody died. Not because, like, you know, like they were actually like taken and forced and thrown away someplace else they didn't want to be. Because their guy in the office lost the vote and they were upset about that.
And it's crazy because of the hypocrisy. Because when Black Lives Matter, we're literally trying to and ripping these statues off. Here comes Trump on a tweet. We're reinforcing this law that says if you do anything to any federal building or any federal monument, it's a minimum 10 years.
So that when I saw that all those people, I was like, good. I hope they get
10 years, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. But no, he's going, "Well, you got to understand, you know, they're upset." And then his manner of calming it down is going this: "We need peace." And then right after that sentence, "You know, I know we got robbed, and I know that this was the worst thing in America, and but we need to just calm down. Even though we got screwed over, and we need to just chill out. Even though I and the American people..."
No ownership. No ownership, man.
That chick Tommy Lauren, I think her name is.
Yeah.
She does some Fox shit. She's a right-wing person. She's dumb. She's a fucking idiot. She talks a pile of shit without knowing what she's talking about. And then even her, she had a tweet. Gotta be careful what you tweet, or you have to be ready to back it up.
Yep.
Because her tweet back in the day was, "If Trump loses, and he won't, you'll see his supporters go to work the next day and be the patriots that they are. Meanwhile, if the other guy loses, you'll see a bunch of people protesting and da-da-da-da-da."
Exactly.
And then look what happened.
Exactly.
They didn't even protest. They committed a terrorist act. Make no mistakes about that. And they pretty much got away with it. Now, I mean, the blowback on it is so bad. Everybody on that Trump team is resigning left and right.
Yep. Police
are getting hammered by why was there no extra security force? You guys had a week. We knew this was gonna happen.
Yep.
And you guys are acting shocked. So, you know,
it wasn't BLM, that's why.
Right.
But you know, it goes back to that picture of them waiting for BLM. And again, it was in a very small frame picture. It's like 50 armed, I don't even want to say police. They look like, you know, National Guard with riot gear on, ready with guns in hand,
ready
for anything to pop off. And, you know, and those stairs, it was like every other step. It was like 20 people lined up. Every other step, 20 people lined up, ready for war. That never came.
For a peaceful protest war that they were trying to
protest. But meanwhile, you got the Trump dudes coming in, their Confederate flags waving, brewing of hate armed. There were people that were armed going to that peaceful protest. Automatic weapons ready.
Where some people are afraid to even just bring a sign to a protest because of the attention that it may draw on them.
They had to disarm like 3 different bombs that were found in the Capitol.
Oh, yeah.
And these are the so-called patriots. These are the ones that this is America being great.
Yeah.
That's the face of America being great. That's why I'm not even a huge Biden fan like that, but it's such a breath of fresh air to see somebody that has some damn dignity as much as he has. You know, we'll see whatever happens. I'm not saying he's an angel and he could be a piece of shit, but nobody will ever be the level of piece of shit that Trump is. He's so bad. He only has 2 weeks left and they're trying to get rid of him. Like, we don't even know what you're going to do in the next 2 weeks. You got to go.
That's why I love that we could track everything. Everyone that loved him, supported him, like, yo, again, keep that same energy. Don't change.
Keep that energy. Keep that energy. And the thing about it is this, though. Those people didn't just wake up one morning and became that. They were that. They've always been that.
Exactly.
But they did it in hiding because the cowards and clowns. They did it in hiding. And they waited. And they would just brew with their other snakes under those rocks and talk shit about all the things that these Trump supporters are talking shit about. But then Trump came. Oh, man, this is our fearless leader. We've been waiting for him. That's the redneck messiah right there. And then he came. And then he emboldened and empowered all these people to act like the most fucked up people in the world and made it acceptable. And that blowback is we're a laughing stock to the world. We used to be something. We used to mean something. And now we're a joke. We have to do, like, in order to get back to equal footing, we got to take like 100 steps up. We took so many steps back just to get back to average where we were. We have to climb up a fucking mountain just to get to average to where we were. Then we could try to progress and move forward. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it is. It is.
So, you know, again, one of those things that it's super mainstream. It's a super topic everybody's talking about. But that's just one thing. There's something that has to be said, man. You know, I couldn't do a podcast without speaking on it. It infuriates me. If you could hear, you hear me now. Like, to be the joke of the world when we were the superpower. We were the country that every other country not looked up to, but we were the ones, and we slowly slid, and then this clown came into office, and we just jumped off the cliff, Wile E. Coyote style. And again, like, we have to climb up that cliff that we fell just to be the normal below average country that we were. And then hopefully we can, ascend to what we used to be. But he did so much damage, and hopefully now that he's out and he's, all those people that were emboldened and empowered, your power's gone. Like, nobody wants to hear that shit anymore. And we'll see. They're catching people that was on camera.
Oh yeah, I think they got the dude that was carrying like Pelosi's podium thing, or
the dude that was sitting on Pelosi's desk with his feet up, boom, like felony charge. The asshole that looked like Chewbacca with the American flag on his face with the horns on and shit, caught him too. Like, they're catching people that they can catch. That is the irony of it. Somebody on Facebook had it. The irony is the people that don't want to wear masks because it fucks with their freedom, and it fucks with my freedom. They're about to lose their justice. They're about to lose their freedom now because they weren't wearing a mask to cover their face. So I find that hilarious.
No, it's poetic. It's perfect.
Poetic. There's not many things you could look on that and go, well, thank God for that. But you know what? Good. Don't wear your mask.
And another side of it was like, the same people that were defending, like saying Blue Lives Matter and like, you know, they were the ones attacking the officers in the crowd and beating them up, and but yet that's okay. That's okay. I mean, like, I swear to, again, just remember, man, I'm keeping notes on everyone who had shit to say, because they're gonna be on the wrong side of history, man. They're already on the wrong side of history in this.
Yeah, when years come, you're gonna see all those Trump supporters years from now. I didn't even like the man. Never voted for him. Oh, he was a piece of shit. Really have this picture in your social media with you with a cardboard cutout, with your thumbs up, like, you know, you have to, again, like, people with common sense saw this happening from day one. You know, common sense ain't that common anymore, though. So you saw people that were waiting for this moment. And, you know, again, it took 4 years and change to get there. But you could slowly see this snake slithering. And you know, you see the, you know, he's making fun, like he's on his campaign trail making fun of a handicapped person. Yeah, that's real presidential. He's telling people, yo, punch that person, that Democrat in the face that was in his one of his campaign rallies.
I remember that. Yep.
And you know, people turn a blind eye to it. Oh no, it's just, this is what we need. Somebody that's not a politician. I'm not saying, you know, politicians are politicians, but you're beyond that. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking reality show host that don't know how it happened, but you became president. And you kept this reality TV show mentality with you and act like you could do that shit with the presidency. And then, you know, talking all that shit. We're going to lock Hillary up. We're going to lock Hillary up. And people like, yeah, lock her up. That was half the reason why people were following him. The day he got inaugurated, the next day. Well, you know, she's all right person. She's an all right person. Right, everybody? We're not gonna do anything with that. And people were like, there was silence. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah. How's that wall, by the way, too? That fucking wall that was supposed to be happening.
Right.
How'd that go?
You know, just
another fucking dream.
He proved to be the businessman that he is. Somebody that talks shit, somebody that makes promises they can't keep, and somebody that, you know, financially got fucked up numerous times that he had to file for bankruptcy.
Bad businessman. Bad business guy.
But, you know, according to these Trump supporters, we need a businessman behind it. And you look at it and nothing about anything business-wise shows he was a good businessman. I know that. You know that. Well, you know that. Nothing about any business move he's ever made shows he was a good businessman. But he kept throwing the wool over everybody's eyes. And all these dumb drones, these sheep, I don't care about the facts you're showing me. What facts? Don't need them. He's saying the sky's green. Look up, it's blue. Nah, but he's saying it's green, so I'm going with that. And that's where we're at. Like, your stupidity and the fact that you're willing to just be a sheep. This is where we're at. You not only were rooting for the wrong person, you were rooting for the fucking devil. And like you said, Len, remember that.
Exactly. I'm taking notes. I'm remembering everything, man.
You know, use better, but to the Trump supporters that were on the fence, not the dumb shits that stormed that building because you're just a lost cause. Lock them all up. To the ones that were on the fence, like, yeah, but remember this. And learn to make better decisions. Like, grow from it. That's the only thing I could really pray to the gods for. I hope you people that were on the fence fucking learn from being on the fence. Make better fucking decisions in your life. You know, do fact checks. Do the things other than just going, all right, I'm going to follow that guy just because.
And that's the question I always had. Like, I wonder, like, how many people are just following him because they just happen to be a true Republican, or do they really love, are they all in because of him? You know, like, because, like, I would definitely, like, let's say if there was a Democratic candidate that was just, like, saying some wild shit and didn't make any, I'm like, I can't back you.
There's an easy way to figure that out. The people that go, I'm a Trump supporter. All right, why? Because no. Give me his policies. That's how you know.
Yeah.
All right, give me his policies that you agree with. If they can't come up with a reason, but just because I like him and all this other shit, he's a good businessman, but you're not following what he wanted to do. All right, but what's his policy that you like as a president and a Republican? What's the policies you agree with? If they can't come up with an answer, there's your answer. And the majority are the sheep. What's the policy? I don't know. I'm just, just following him because, you're fired. And all the other shit they used to do to get their popularity. He wasn't giving out policies through his campaign trails. But what do you think you're going to do with this? Don't worry about it. Just vote for me. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to fix the world. And people followed that shit. Garbage.
Yeah.
Fucking basura. Garbage.
Yeah.
And but you know what though? It shows where we're at as a country. We thought we were progressing. And then this piece of shit comes by, and then all the snakes slither out the rocks. And then you go, wow, this is where we're really at. That's where we're really at. You think we're progressing.
Oh, no, I was just going to add that in a sense, it's almost good that happened, just so we could see who's who and see what's what.
In a sense, I agree with that. I was going to say that, but I held back from saying that. So I'm actually glad you said that. In a sense, sometimes you need something like this to happen to make a truthful evaluation of where you're at. And unfortunately, even though it made our country look horrible, technically needed.
Yeah.
Technically. So again, man, I know I ranted on a long time about it. It's just something I had to get off my chest, man. Like, it was a joke. Like, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
It was something, like I said, I wanted to touch on. And I'm going to move on from that unless you have anything you guys want to add.
No, I'm good.
I will say, I know one of the guys that got called out of work that day to attend it, and then his job caught wind of it and they fired him. I did see that. I
saw a post on Yahoo saying that people are losing their jobs off of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, and rightfully so.
Good. Exactly.
So. There should be blowback. Fine. If they're not going to go to jail for a federal fucking crime, there has to be blowback. Lose your job. Fuck it. Lose your wife or your husband. Like, I don't care. But there should be blowback to this. Like, they have to learn their lesson somewhere or another.
Because we get lessons taught to us for not doing anything.
Yeah.
For not even attempting anything like that, but major lessons are taught to us,
They think because they agree with something, that's not right, but they think because they agree with it, that there's those voters, that base, they feel entitled, that entitlement that they have, and they feel that they could just get away with murder. They don't understand the definition and repercussions. I hope they understand it now. If they're not going to jail, there has to be some repercussions for that. You committed a terrorist act. You guys should all be thrown into jail for a terrorist act.
Right.
And if not, fine. All right, you can't get everybody there, but the people that find out, there has to be something to be done. Lose your job, lose whatever. Whatever you have to lose to learn your lesson, learn your lesson. There are flags at half-mast. But meanwhile, other people are calling them patriots. It's not, no. To your small-minded group of people, you're patriots. To the rest of the world, you're a terrorist. And a lesson has to be learned by that. Like, that's crazy.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
So,
Woosah.
Now that I got that out of my system, I actually feel a little better now. A little bit of weight has been taken off my shoulders. I wanted to say that, and I thank you guys for letting me say it, and thank you for chiming in with your opinion on it. But now that that's said, let's move on to something more lighthearted. Okay. Basketball, still not getting into. Football, I'm catching the highlights. I'm still a huge MMA fan. So with that said, Will, I'm gonna take your opinion on this because you're my MMA aficionado. McGregor versus Poirier. Poirier 2. What are your feelings about that? Because I have my feelings on it, but I want your opinion on it.
My honest feelings of it, not looking forward to it. I thought McGregor would have. I wanted McGregor to more challenge himself and pick someone else to fight, especially after all this time off. I kind of feel like he's just like, let me just do this. I'm probably gonna get the win. I wanted him to challenge himself more. I'm not looking forward to this fight.
So I'm trying to understand. I'm with you. I'm trying to understand the hype on it. And I can't understand the hype on it because their first fight lasted 2 minutes. This was young McGregor. This fight happened a long time ago, the first one.
Yeah. And
it was over in 2 minutes. And it was a beatdown. He is the ultimate MMA showman. I guess we'll call him like the Mayweather of MMA. Yeah. He will turn a fight that really doesn't mean anything to anybody's eyes and turn it into this spectacular event. Now, the only thing that goes with that, though, is maybe Poirier, after having all this time off, has gotten better. And maybe he'll put up a better fight. McGregor is the type of fighter, if he catches you on the first round and a half, 2 rounds, he's probably going to win. If you could pass that little blind side, if you could pass that barrage, he wears down. Like, he blows his load quick. And then, he's more susceptible for a loss.
I was going to, how long ago was that fight?
Was that like McGregor's first fight in the States?
Something like that. You're talking like 10, maybe around 10 years, maybe something like that.
Put it like this: when that came out, McGregor was more of a hype machine, as we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And he just started talking shit. It was like, yo, who is this Irish dude in here talking that shit? Mm-hmm. That's how old this fight was. Like, this happened a very long time ago. He was technically in MMA, in UFC. He was a newcomer. So
I think he should have fought it should have been Poirier 2 a while ago. I mean, now that McGregor's out, I don't know. I really don't like this fight. I probably won't even watch it.
Agreed. Like, I'm bringing up the fight because he's such a hype machine. He's able to turn money out of lemons. Like, because nobody cares. There's nothing about that fight that makes me go, because I went back to see the first one. It was 2 minutes. Poirier got a couple good shots in, but he was pretty much demolished. It was over in 2 minutes. Yeah. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares about the rematch because it was such like you said, should have been done a long time ago. If you're going to do McGregor Poirier 2, that should have been a while back.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There is much more stiffer and better competition. I think he just wants a quicker and easier payday. Because that's what he is now. Like, he just wants to he's like Mayweather. I'm just trying to get paid for hopping in the ring.
2014, by the way.
Huh?
2014 was their first, the first fight.
So we're talking 8 years?
7.
I mean, in MMA terms, that's a long time ago. McGregor's been around for a long time. There's better competition that he can go after. And
I hate that. My bad. Go ahead.
That's not taking anything away from Poirier. You step in that ring, you got a chance to either win or lose. You step in that ring, and he's a trained fighter. But for the level of competition and the fact that we've seen that, and that was 7 years ago, I would like to see a bunch of other fights before I'd see McGregor in the ring with Poirier.
No doubt. No, I was just going to add, like, I hate that when we get that in regards to, for whatever reason, like a fight that we should have gotten and we never get it. And when we do get it, it's always like way past like both the athletes or the boxers or whatever you want to like the matchup is, kind of like past their prime when it's not going to be as good as it should have been.
Tyson Roy Jones.
There you go.
The younger version of that would have been crazy. I will say this though.
It would have been too much.
Huh?
I don't know if Roy Jones would have went that heavy, went up that high, because I know he did like light heavyweight.
He was
Actually,
heavyweight.
no, I take that back. I forgot he fought the Spanish dude.
John Ruiz, he jabbed him for 12 rounds. He jabbed his nose broken.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He went up to heavyweight. Now,
he did.
I will say this though. A 50-something-year-old Tyson was throwing body shots that would have broken, like, wow. Like, I would not want to get hit with an old Mike Tyson body shot because he'd probably break. If he punched my left side, he'd shatter my left side, and the shockwave would break my right side. Like, he was throwing bombs.
I wouldn't take one with the bag. If I was holding the bag, I wouldn't take one.
I wouldn't take a Mike Tyson body shot with one of those inflatable, gigantic toy things you put on your arms in your hands. I wouldn't take a body shot from him with that. Like, he's throwing shots with that anger that he used to have. And to hear the thud on those shots connect. And even Roy Jones, like, they were interviewing afterwards, he was like, my body hurts. He goes, Tyson punches hard. And this is almost a 60-year-old Tyson.
Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to see Tyson back in the ring again. Do another exhibition, Mike. Roy, even though he's kept busy doing these fights here and there, he was doing a lot of dancing. Like, he was preparing for a 12-rounder that went 3 minutes each. I'm kind of mad that they had 2-minute rounds. Like, there were things that they need to improve on these exhibition fights.
But they need to keep an exhibition though, because some of these dudes are not ready to take major punishment, like, so I'm glad that they honestly, I have the opposite opinion. I'm glad that they kind of toned it down. Like, Evander Holyfield, like, I think he wants to box, he wants to do it. Like, there's no way they should let him do that. There's no way. Not even for an exhibition.
If you could pass a physical, if you don't have mental brain damage from taking your beatings early in your career, you should be allowed to fight. There's nothing that says an older person can't get in the ring with another older person. I will say this though, you can't have 2-minute boxing rounds. That shit is a joke. 3 minutes seems not like a long time, and especially when you follow MMA, 5-minute rounds are awesome. 3-minute boxing rounds are quick as it is, and it goes by a decent amount of pace. Like, 3-minute rounds can't last forever if you're watching it and they're working and all that. 2-minute rounds were a joke. Okay, you want to do 8 rounds? Fine. But you got to have them at 3 minutes a shot. Those 2-minute rounds, they'd step in the ring, ding, ding, jab, jab, body shot, ding, ding, round over. Like that, wasn't a fan of that. They have to do 3-minute rounds. And even them dudes were like, yeah, that kind of sucked.
So to be honest, I didn't watch the fight. I only saw highlights. So I didn't get that full feel of it as far as like what you're saying. So I think that would make me feel a certain way as well. But again, I never watched it. I just saw clips.
It's like watching a sprint. Like them little 30-meter ones, like they're just over like this.
Yeah.
Those rounds, right when you'd be like, ooh, because Mike would throw a body shot, pap, pap, and you would hear it. Pap, pap, like he would. But Roy was doing his dancing around. You get comfortable into the round, and the round's over.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things like, good idea. I would improve on it. Mm-hmm. Do the 8 rounds if you want to do the 8 rounds. They're older, so I get it. Have those legends go 8 rounds, but they have to be for 3 minutes a shot. 2-minute rounds were almost a joke. I don't want Tyson to show up on my doorstep and hit me with a body shot, so I don't want to say they were a complete joke, but they were almost a joke.
Very funny, Ollie.
Doom, doom, doom. Mike? Bow! That didn't take 2 minutes, bitch. Like, walk away.
That's funny.
That's those are my 2 things I want to get out the way. That fight with Poirier is not happening for like another 2 weeks. That hype train's gonna keep on going, and we'll see. Look, man, it could end up being an epic fight. It could be, but based off of the first one, I don't understand the hype on it. Based on the first one, Again, like McGregor could fight a whole bunch of other people that would draw more interest from me.
so many other people. Yep.
You know, so that's all I got. Mr. William, the court's yours.
Yep.
So probably segueing off of the whole capital thing. So for the longest, I've been asking, you know, like before, the U.S. used to be the go-to place for foreigners to come to. I just don't think I don't think that's a thing anymore, or I really don't think it should be, I don't know, publicized like that. One, due to taxes. Second, due to small businesses. Like a lot of foreigners usually come here, open up small businesses. Now is definitely not a good time to really open up a small businesses, as small businesses are closing. The other issue is debt. This country thrives on debt.
Okay, boy, do they.
Third thing is culture shock. And not to say it's a bad thing or a good thing, but like it will be a culture shock as far as like guns go. Like, for example, London, they're very strict on guns, and there's hardly any guns. So when you listen to UK drill rap, you know, they're not talking about shootings, they're talking about stabbings, because that's what's going on. So since they don't have guns, they have knives. So all they rap about is stabbing people.
I don't know why it's making me laugh. I do find that funny. I don't know why it's making me laugh.
It's definitely not funny, but it made me smile too. I'm trying to hold it back too. I'm trying to hold it back.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of stabbings they have over there. Like, I was watching something the other day, and it said something within a month. It was like something like 2,300 stabbings in 1 month or something like that.
Listen, some of them are drive-by.
I was gonna say, they close, open up the window, you see a bunch of knives come flying out.
You got to be a fucking like a former circus act to those. Or I'd be like one hell of a dart thrower. Oh man!
It goes to show you, even if you don't have guns, people will find something else to.
Listen, man. Back in caveman days, we'll say, we pick up a rock and just bludgeon somebody to death. It's not necessarily guns, because again, UK has knives. It's not the means of doing it. It's the mentality of it. Humans are just warlike by nature, and we just have that thing of just being that way to each other. So yeah, if it's not guns, it'll be knives. If it's not knives, it'll be fucking sledgehammers. If it's not sledgehammers, it'll be people setting each other on fire. Like, it goes on human nature. Again, I guess there is a benefit to not having guns. There are, but again, like, somebody will think of something to do the deed with, because it's all about it's all about mentality and things like that. So big up to the UK, and if their crime was down, that'd be fine. If their crime is down, then cool. But if instead of gunshot wounds, there's a bunch of stab wounds that everybody has to deal with,
still some form of violence.
Is it really that more civilized? And I guess since I'm talking, I'll piggyback on the question. Name me a better place. As fucked up as America is, and America has a laundry list of things that makes this country fucked up, and it is. Name me a better place. There's the Canadas of the world.
I was gonna say Canada.
Canada's a good answer. That's a debatable answer. We can go back and forth of maybe we should all just head over north of the border. You'd have to go into places that, you want to go to a place where, crime isn't a factor. But as far as small businesses go, I'll say this. Nothing will beat America as far as that American dream. Now we're in a fucked up time. We're in a fucked up era of COVID and things like that. Like, that's a major reason why these smaller franchises and these smaller companies are dying off. because you have to have money to make money. And if you're closed off because your state mandates it, you know, that's going to be, you are the collateral damage. But you see Jews, you see Koreans, you see Indian people, they come to this country and they make, you know, here's your gas stations, here's your cleaning, you know, here's your laundromats, here's your, you know, the Jewish section. They all thrive because they believe in that family. They do things a certain way. You know, the culture of who they are gets them where they need to go. The culture of America is why America is America, you know, good or bad. But there's a reason why, you know, Jewish people are in that one area and they thrive because they take care of each other. There's a reason why the Indian people, they're in that one area and they thrive because they take care of each other. Same with the Koreans. America's not like that. You know, we're a again, for all the good, I still will say that there's no place better to live that dream and to try to become something. You know, you can't come here with nothing and walk out in a way better off position. There's things that go with it. It goes off to the things that we were talking about: mentality, persistence, perseverance, patience, having a game plan, applying. You know, even the Indian people that come over here, they come over here, they stack their money in their country, they come here and they invest in a property, and they take over that property, and then they have their family members work at that place. And you know, you're same with the Koreans, same with the Jewish people. You know, they don't go out and hire people. They your family, son, come here, you're gonna work this register. And when it comes down to it, they'll pass that business off to them. And that's how that cycle continues. That's how that money stays in the family. So I agree with you in the sense that there's a lot of bullshit that comes with this country. There's a lot of bullshit that comes with this country. I will say, you know, you could, I'm not gonna say nitpick, but you could choose like a Canada type place that, all right, shit, you know what? That might be a better off place to go. We could debate it. But as far as that, you know, quote unquote American dream and making it, you know, I don't think there's a better place to be. And then you look at these third world countries, these war-torn countries, you know, DR is a beautiful place if you're in the resort. When you step off that resort, you might get your head cut off by a machete. You know, what did Chris Rock say when he was in that movie trying to be president? I'm not talking about Jamaica, resort Jamaica. I'm talking about stabbing Jamaica. Like, you know, every country is like every, you know, like there's a ghetto in every hood and all this other stuff. Like there's a positive and negative for every country. To get that quote unquote American dream, I don't see a better place than America. And you know, the only place I could think of is what you were saying, what I was saying, Canada. You know, free healthcare. There's things that make Canada go. We could have that debate, and we might hit that conclusion. Like, damn, let's all go. Let's all go. You know, let's all go up north and make a life for ourselves. But that I don't see a better place than America. And who the fuck am I? I could be wrong. But, you know, to like, you know, we go and see YouTube and people become famous doing next to nothing. Give me another country that could happen in, you know? So I see your point. I definitely see your point. But I can't think of a better place to do it at than America. That's just me.
So I think ultimately it comes down to kind of like what you just said, Paul. But like as far as like what are you coming here for? You know, is it trying to like, are you running from like, you know, like strict rule, where like you actually want to be yourself and be, you know, whatever the case may be? The United States is a good spot for that, you know. But if you're really trying to like come here, like you just said, especially now with all this going on, but like small business, maybe right now might not be the best time, or again, it really depends on what you're coming here for. So,
At my job, you know, there's a dude that has come from literally the Congo, and his job pays not a great amount for the position that he's in, and he's the happiest person in the world because his alternatives, you know, are horrible.
that's what I'm breaking down. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just elaborating on that, but you know, it depends on what, you know, what is successful for us. You know, me getting this podcast off, us being successful, us having money and the freedom of time. You know, that's what we consider successful. Him working his 9 to 5, busting his hump for what other people will consider not so great pay. To him, he's living the American dream. You know, so to piggyback on what you said, it depends on where you come from and what your goals are. If he's able to feed his family and not have to worry about fucking Congo problems coming into play, then he's good. You know, he's happy.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that too, because when I was in Jamaica last, at the resort that I went to, everybody there were like super friendly. But this one kid I was talking to, he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, and I'm saving up my money in about a year, so I'm gonna come to the United States." I'm like, "Yo, that's dope." But I'm saying, just make sure you come here with a plan. Don't just come here to come here. You know, make sure you got something planned up. Like, yo, I plan to do this and this time, this amount of time, or I'm gonna try to do this, whatever. Just come focused, because you know, like, it'll eat you up, and you'd be almost like living the same way you're living now, but just, you know,
in a different location. Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Have a plan while you're coming here, or else you know, the bullshit will eat you up. It will, in a heartbeat, and then you're in the same, if not worse, position. But you know, there's another guy at my job. He came here from India, and he works for these checks, and he just sends money back home to his family. You know, so it depends on what your definition of success is and what your definition of living the dream is. You know,
there's a dude that I think he's from Pakistan, so he's Indian as well. But like, I know he has like his main job, and then he's like per diem at like 5 other spots. And from what I hear, that people that know him doing what I do, it's like, yo, this guy is always working. But I think he does exactly what you're just saying, as far as like the guy that you work with, as far as like just like racking up that dough and sending it, you know?
Because you can't come to this country and make a job again that's we would consider not a high paying job.
Is a great job.
It's balling right now. I'm able to provide for my family, you know, hours away on plane.
Yeah.
I'm able to support them and do what I have to do. So it's there's a lot of things that go into that, Will. It's an awesome question. There's a lot that go into it.
When I first read it, or when you first mentioned it, I was like, yeah, that's a great question. And then kind of like you touched on it, as far as like, what's the alternative? Like, where else would you go, you know? So, and it's dope that we covered both.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man.
Yep.
What else you got, man?
This is more something I just ran across a documentary on Noisy. It's a Vice show that used to be on Vice, and then all of a sudden I was like, what the hell happened to this? And then it turns out they made it like a YouTube show. Basically, they would go to certain areas and, you know, highlight the music scene. Usually it's the hip hop scene, but they'll capture everything. Like one episode, they went to Lagos, Nigeria, you know, highlighted their artists from there. They were going all over the country. But I ran across this other special about, you know, hip hop in Asia, and I really didn't know how big it was, and how many artists out there. And it's funny to see the different effects of hip hop internationally. Like, you got a group called like the Higher Boys from China. They're younger, and their generation is more like, it's mumble rap but in Chinese, which is pretty interesting, and it sounds just like it is here. I mean, I downloaded actually a few of their songs, and I was just like, it's weird because I'm like, some of the mumble rap I wouldn't listen to here, but then listen to it in Chinese and not even understanding what they're saying, but hearing the cadence and the beat, I'm like, this actually sounds pretty good.
Oh, it's just like America. I can't understand what you're saying, but the cadence is good and the beat's hot. So, you know, and you're talking English. So, yeah.
And then you got the other spectrum where India has this like big hip hop scene, but they're more tailored from the 90s rap. More conscious stuff, what's going on in the environment. So it's fun to see that effect from there. Same thing with Vietnam. There's this girl called Sue Boy.
Well, hold up 1 second. Where do you say that you were just referring to? Where were you referring to?
This one was India.
Okay.
Yeah, they're more like conscious rappers from, and a lot of them like, you know, if in the interview they were like, oh, we like KRS. We looked up the KRS-One. You know, a lot of old school rappers. Whereas the higher boys from China, they're more like now, like Migos. They did a song with Soulja Boy. They did a song with Famous Dex, stuff like that. But then you also got Sue Boy, who also more like a political rapper. She that is. She's more like a conscious rapper. Then you got a dude called Stupid Young. He's actually Cambodian, but he's like from the West Coast. And his big thing is, the big controversy with him is he spits just like a West Coast rapper. Sounds very good on the beat, but the big controversy is he uses the N-word in his rhymes. So it's like, oh, how's this Asian dude using the N-word, blah, 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 blah. But he's part of the Crips. So like if they did a thing where they went to his hood, I mean, there was like 40 Crips all dressed in blue, and he was there in the middle of them, and he was dapping them up, and they were talking their talk, cuz, and all that.
Wow.
Okay.
And he was saying the N-word, and everyone was just like, and then they even asked the other people, they were like, yo, how do you feel about this dude using the N-word? All of them were like, yo, he grew up with us in the hood. I mean, they were like, he gets a pass, you know.
I understand that.
Then there's also this other chick from Japan called A-Witch. She's kind of like a singer rapper. She's more conscious as well. Then you got a kid from Korea called Keith Ape. He's more like, I would say like a corn and hip hop. He's like kind of like, it's a hip hop beat, but he's like screaming, kind of like Korn and like Linkin Park.
So when you watch all these acts from all these different countries, obviously it's not in English. So like, do you get where do you go to get the breakdown of the lyrics, or are you just going off of just the sound alone?
So that's a good question. So like for the India one, they actually had the subtitles. So as they were rapping, I was reading what they were rapping about. I was like, oh, they're talking about just like struggles. I mean, they're not saying, yo, I'm rolling up in my Bentley, I got ice on my wrist. I mean, you'll see none of that, except if it's like higher boys. But majority of them are not doing that. So it's pretty interesting to see the impact of hip hop like all around. And even like even higher boys, they got the dreads. He's got the gold grills. I mean, he's got the tattoos on his face. It's like an exact replica. It's so amazing.
But okay, Paul, my bad.
I was gonna say that influence. I haven't been to many countries, and I haven't heard many different countries of their hip hop. But when I did go to Amsterdam that one time, dude, I remember going into Burger King, and the songs that they had playing was "Hail Mary" by Tupac, the uncut version. And you know, you're ordering a Whopper, like, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. And yo, like, it's funny because they still have and it was years ago that I went, they have a better understanding of what the culture is than what it is over here now. Because they still believe in the struggle rap, the Commons of the world. We don't need to flash around with these benches. And I get it. There's dudes out there that represent that part, but there's a better understanding of the hip hop culture and what it actually is supposed to be and what it means and what era they're rhyming in. So yeah, I get that. And you actually had me interested to hear some of these people out here.
I was not gonna lie, that whatever that mumble, the first person you were mentioning, if you can send us a link to hear something.
There was one segment. They went to a record store and they told the Chinese dudes like, "Oh, yo, pick up any vinyl you want. Just pick one. It's yours." And one of the guys actually picked up a Big L vinyl. He was like, "Yo." He's like, "Yo." He said something like, "When I first heard Big L, I was just like," he said he was just enamored. And what was his song? I think it was the song called Flamboyant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And he said he went to so what he did was he ended up translating the lyrics from English to Chinese to try to understand what he was saying. Of course, he had some problems with some of the slang, but he was just like, "Yo, Big L." And this is from, I think he's like 20 years old. So it's like, you can see, whereas you got this generation here in the US disrespecting like the 90s rap and all that stuff. So
Lil Xanax said Tupac is boring.
Yeah.
Lost his career off of that. People were ready to punch him in the face for that.
Yep.
It's again, going back to what I'm saying, other countries have a respect for hip hop that we don't have, and we birthed it. And it's crazy how if you're an old rapper, you get looked on in a negative tone, whereas other countries look at him and like, yeah, KRS-One is one of the greatest.
God,
is a legend.
That's why these guys can still tour overseas. Like KRS-One still tours overseas. A lot of 90s acts, they can still go overseas and tour and do well.
Because they're respected for what they do. We live in a what have you done for me lately kind of country. It goes back to the pros and cons of being in America. Like, we have a patience of a goldfish. Like, it's 1 second to the next. It is the what have you done for me lately. If Nas wasn't pumping out an album every 6 months, people don't care about Nas. And he's one of the greatest of all time. If you're not doing something that makes you relevant to the moment, you're irrelevant. Forget what your catalog is. Forget what you've done. Forget the fact that Illmatic is a classic. Stillmatic, it was written. Forget the fact that all those albums make you legend. Nobody cares. I don't understand it.
That doesn't make any sense. How can you knock something that you were derived from? Like,
it goes, for some reason, I love hip hop. I hate hip hop fans. Because people that love the Rolling Stones back in the day love the Rolling Stones now. People that love AC/DC back in the day love AC/DC now. Time passes and they still remember what they did.
Yeah.
It's the opposite for hip hop fans. If you don't hear from them, all of a sudden you just be like, I don't care about you anymore. But when they care about them? When they fucking die. And then everybody goes, oh, they were the greatest. Oh my God, let's all go on Facebook and play that music that we used to love. But meanwhile, they haven't been around playing anything in a while, and you don't care. And not only do you not care, you start to get disrespectful to them. Like, he ain't shit anymore. Like that. I never understood that. That's the one thing I hate about the hip hop culture, or the majority of the fans. Don't get me wrong, no fans that I love Run DMC, so I love Run DMC now. Like, there are still some of those fans, but for the most part, the majority are the "What Have You Done for Me Lately" group.
Young Thug just recently said, "Hey, I've got more hits than Jay-Z." So, I was just like,
he was like that if we went to like a concert right now, that the whole entire stadium, they couldn't sing line for line Jay-Z songs. Oh, that made no sense.
What is he talking about?
That made no sense.
Yeah.
You could just choose B-sides from like all of his albums, and still everybody in the crowd is like bopping to it and knows like line for line.
But there are still people be like, who's Biggie Smalls? Who is that guy? Never heard of him. You know, but people, again, it goes on the fandom, because people that love rock now will go back and be like, oh man, you know, and just name an old school group and be like, wow, they're a great influence. Like, people in those genres, they go back and hear what makes them, you know, they're new age Beatle fans, because they love that genre of music, so they hear it all. Hip hop fans, they like mumble rap, so they don't care about the Biggies, the Pacs, the Nas's, the Jay-Z's, but they don't, you know, but they don't do the knowledge. They don't, you know, me, I grew up near the end of the KRS era. I know KRS. I know the Rakims. I know the ones that paved the way, you know.
Exactly.
They all get better. You know, the rhyming schemes and how they use their words and the flows, they all get better, but you have to pay homage and respect to the ones that paved the way. There'd be no rap for those guys. And people of this I don't want to say generation, but it's really the hip hop culture. They don't care. It's who's the hot artist right now. And then when that hot artist starts to fade away, they're gone from existence. Who's the next hot artist? And then when they start to dip a little bit, gone. Who's the next hot artist?
Yep.
And they all get thrown in the bin. And they don't, you know, perfect example. I love 50 Cent. 50 Cent killed Ja Rule's career. It wasn't because he killed his career. It's because the fan base killed his career because 50 Cent do it.
Yeah.
50 was like, all Ja Rule does is sing. He's not this, he's not this, he's not this. All the people that were singing the Ja Rule songs go, yeah, you know what? 50's right. Fuck Ja Rule. In the bin. And then 50 started imitating what Ja does and start singing.
Yep.
It's I love hip hop. I hate the hip hop fans, man. There are not many true hip hop fans. And I'm talking about true, like, we can have a debate on the old school dudes who paved the way that I never really heard like that. But I know about them, and I heard the songs that make them what they are. You get hip-hop fans. For hip-hop fans to say, who's Biggie? Never heard of him.
I don't know about
that
that.
says a lot about that, because not saying you have to be a diehard fan, but you should know who Biggie Smalls is if you follow the culture.
What I mean, besides, like, so it's like usually Tupac and Biggie who always get thrown into rhymes or lines, but like as far as like rest in peace to them. Like, how can you listen to rap and not know that, you know, who they're referring to, you know?
It's like being a basketball fan and going, hey, who's that Michael Jordan guy I keep hearing about?
Yeah.
And I don't know, what is he? Is he good? Like, what? There's not a basketball fan that doesn't know. Again, you don't have to call him a GOAT if you don't want to, but you know who Michael Jordan is. And you get these hip-hop fans. Jay-Z, who's that guy? Oh, the guy that's married to Beyonce? Oh, the guy with the crazy hair? Because he got crazy hair now. But it's like, who, that guy? And it's like, you never heard of Reasonable Doubt? Like, who's that Nas guy? Illmatic created a word. Illmatic became a word. It was the name of an album. And then that's how we judged other albums. Yo, how's that album? Yo, that album is Illmatic. How's that other guy's album? Yo, that shit is Illmatic. Yo, how was, you know, yo, that dude did some Illmatic stuff. Like, that name of an album was so important to the culture, it became its own word. And for people to not ever do their homework, it's like baseball fans not ever, like, who the fuck is that Babe Ruth guy?
Yeah.
You know, whatever you could compare that to, you just forget about the greats. Like, there's certain people that you will never forget about. And this hip-hop generation, or this hip-hop fandom, they do. It's who's the greatest. It ain't the guys that were the greatest. And then that's the only thing, because everybody does reaction videos on YouTube now. Everybody. I'm about to ask you guys, you want to do a reaction video? And you hear these, you know, they throw on a Biggie song, they throw on a Nas song. You hear these younger generations hear New York State of Mind by Nas, and you see their eyes light up. They're like, holy shit, what is this? And you should have known what it is. That's the only thing I appreciate about these young kids listening to these reaction videos, because people are like, no, you need to listen to this Jay-Z song. You need to listen to this Wu-Tang song. You need to listen to this Nas song. And then you hear them go, holy shit, this is amazing. There should be more of that.
That's why these verses are so good, because they're showing a lot of the younger generation, like the dope shit that, like, again, where they, like, the majority of the shit that's going on now, where it was all like spawned from, you know. So when you got the shit with who's the one recently, with like Snoop and
DMX.
Yeah, that shit was fucking dope.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking dope. Just to hear them song, and then to see them like go back to back with songs, and then X singing some of Snoop's songs, or Snoop going off of one of. Because again, when they were hot, you didn't see all that because of the whole West Coast, East Coast, and whatever, right? But like, to know that they probably didn't care that much about all that shit. They were still like down with the music, you know.
DMX was the first rapper in history. I don't know, he might be still to this day be the only one to drop 2 #1 albums in the same year.
Yeah.
Like, that means something in culture. Like, that means something in hip hop, and people don't acknowledge it.
Did you guys see the Rough Riders doc?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
Is it a Netflix thing?
Where is it on? I think it's shit. You got to find out what it's on. But I could have swore I watched it. I didn't like go to any kind of cable thing for it. It was through my cable.
Yeah.
Is it BET or I think it's like through BET. Okay. And like on their on-demand thing, and I looked it up and I saw it. Yo, it's really good. Really, really good. Really good.
That's what's up.
Really good.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, dude, everybody's on fire, man. You talked about a lot, but it was all good shit, man. I like this little forum that we're doing right now. We gotta keep this one moving.
I agree.
So unless anybody has any parting words or anything to add or close off on, you know, we'll put a bow on this one.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. So, damn, man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mr. William Lynn Dukes. I am Paul. Thank you for tuning into the Paul and Palz podcast. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for anybody who's listening. We'll put all links to everything on the bottom, on the description. Check it all out because it's all good. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
America!
Yeah.
Bye.